Yeah. Hey, Doug. How are you doing?
I've been better.
Yeah, I can imagine. I guess obviously it's been kind of a theme all season, the short bench and stuff. But how much do you think it maybe played a role in that fourth quarter, just with fatigue and stuff like that?
Oh, it might have. I mean, there's an outside chance, and then there's an outside chance that Florida was just better in that fourth quarter than we were. So it's really hard to say. I don't think we ran out of gas, to be honest with you. It would have been a convenient excuse. I think they made some plays, and sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. There was a couple offensive rebounds. There's a couple fouls. We kept on fouling down the stretch. And so, they're quick, and we knew that, and we had done a nice job. If we let up just a little bit, our margin for error is pretty small, and they may or may not have been fouls, but I mean, they're going to the free throw line, so they were. And so maybe we couldn't sustain it for the full 40 minutes, but we made a heck of a run at it.
I know you mentioned yesterday about obviously they're a good fast break team in transition. I think they had 21 fast break points tonight. Just how much did that kind of play into things with them kind of getting in the run?
Well, yeah, that's what they do. And it's hard to replicate their speed. They were fantastic with the break. I thought we lingered a little bit early on, and that was the only way they were scoring for a while. We had done a pretty nice job with our half court defense. When we got it set, when we lingered, thought we could maybe pick some off and get some steals. And I know Maya went for one and Annie went for one, and I was okay with those. We just missed them on the wings. I wasn't okay when we didn't protect the hole and pick up the ball. It was just too much stress on our defense. And again, we can't afford to get into foul trouble, which fortunately we were able to stay out of.
Volume really quick. Robbie, go ahead.
Coach, y'all have been so good and efficient shooting the ball the last 3 ball games. Y'all were over 50% all 3 games. Today was a little more of a struggle to shoot the ball, but how did you feel like y'all were able to kind of get past that and stay in the ball game until the last 2 minutes of the game there?
I mean, I just think you have to have multiple ways to win a game. Again, if we rely only on that 3, we're going to have some tough nights. I mean, the best shooting teams in the country are going to have some off nights. So, yeah, the ball wasn't going in quite the way it has been for the last couple games, but I just thought just a toughness defensively, getting hands on balls when we needed to, when it was starting to almost get away from us. And then we squeezed the floor. We got it into a half court game. And we got out ourselves and got a couple in transition, and then we started getting to the line. But I just thought, through the free throw line, multiple attacks late in the clock, getting some scores that was allowed us to stay in that game. And we needed Florida to tighten up, and they didn't. They made the necessary plays to win that game.
Stefan, go ahead.
Doug, you mentioned the free throws a little bit. They had a big advantage in free throws there in the fourth quarter. And I know a couple of those were late on, as the game situation goes. But, how much did that kind of slow things down for you? I know you guys like to push in transition a bit. How much do you think that kind of slowed it down and maybe gave Florida a bit of an edge there in the fourth?
Yeah, I thought it was crucial. It felt like they were getting to the line about every possession down the stretch. And some of it was late clock, and and then we struggled a little bit from the foul line compared to what we had been doing. But we want to win that free throw line battle, and we didn't win it today. We fouled more than they did. So whether it was transition or just fouling, that was and it's not to take anything away from Florida's half court offense, but that was what hurt us the most, our fouling and our conversion defense in segments of the game.
I know her numbers on the stat sheet maybe aren't very flashy, but the crowd seemed to feed off Charlotte Cole a bit. I know she had a season high 31 minutes, and that was kind of by a wide margin to her previous season high. I mean, what do you think of her effort today, and kind of what she could bring to this team moving forward now with this experience?
Yeah, so proud of her. She did it, not shying away, not nervous, not backing away from the challenge. She's our one player over 6 foot. And that's the most minutes she's ever played in college by a landslide. And her conditioning was great. Her alertness, she did a really good job on ball screens. She came close on a couple, and I think the hump would have exploded if a couple of those had gone in. I'm proud of her, and I can't wait to see her continue to grow down the last part of this SEC stretch.
I think you had said when Danae got hurt that you kind of, Charlotte had the abilities, but maybe you kind of had a reminder that she was able to do some of that she was able to do. I mean, from a confidence standpoint, have you seen maybe some development, in the past few games from her?
Yes, and it's not just the coaches, it's the players. The players are building her up, and they are so excited for her. And again, we've talked about this before. When you know that your friends and your peers have your back, whether the ball goes in or doesn't go in, they just want you to keep trying and keep fighting. And Charlie knows that, and she feels it, and it's going to allow her to continue to grow. Whether we win, whether we lose, whether she pulls down 10 rebounds or gets in the way so that someone else can go get those rebounds, she's going to try to do the right thing every time.
Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Doug, I wondered if you had like a timetable or anything for Raven Farley when she kind of might be back in the mix.
I don't.
Okay. And then I know you guys kind of dominated in the points off turnovers. I think you had like 21 or something tonight. But is it kind of a case where when an opposing team has as many fast break points, as many second chance points, that you guys just couldn't get over the hump of kind of overcompensating, and that's in that category?
It ended up almost being a wash. So we did our job on that defensive end in creating some of those turnovers and turning them into some fast break points. And, we've said this from the very beginning, it is a possession game. We need to keep the rebounds as close as we can. I'm not saying that we can win that thing, but if we can keep it somewhat close, and then take care of the ball, force some turnovers, maybe put someone into foul trouble. But it ended up, unfortunately, it ended up being a wash. Their straight transition points and speed, and they have tremendous speed. They've done it to everybody in the league, including us, unfortunately. But we did turn them over, and we made them pay a couple times. And unfortunately, we just didn't get back ourselves the way we needed to.
We'll wrap things up with Stefan.
Yeah, I know Ole Miss is probably a different situation with just how you match up with them, but I know you played 5 guards there a little bit when you gave Charlotte a rest. I mean, what do you think of that lineup, and maybe what you guys can do with having 5 guards out there?
We don't have a choice. So it's interesting because you're putting more shooting out there, and we're trying to figure out how to find the space. And because I think our players know how to play, we can put them in some scenarios that maybe they haven't experienced throughout the year, but they can still find something that they're familiar with and some space in there, and they really start moving the ball. And Ree was able to get a couple threes against their bigs by picking and popping and doing some things. But we're going to have to develop that as we go on the fly. For those times that we need it.
On defense, how's that kind of look? I mean, does that give you some, flexibility just in terms of being able to switch some more?
It does, but we didn't do it a lot. We did emergency switching, so we veered off at the very end. If someone was turning a corner in the ball screen, whoever was helping out just stayed on the ball, and then who's ever chasing down the ball veered off to take the roller or the popper. And there was a couple of times where it's just straight guard on guard. Well, our guard was guarding one of their multiple bigs, so it ends up they just switched it, and it was logical, and it was communicated, and it was early, and it was loud, and it was decisive. And so it's not something that we planned on doing, but it's something that was, and we weren't doing it because we're soft. We weren't doing it because it was convenient. We did it because it kept them out of the paint. So I thought our team showed some really really nice basketball IQ in doing that.
Thanks, everybody. Love.